All right, welcome to the Tuesday, June 11th edition of the Voorheesville Board of Education Facilities Committee. I do not have the agenda in front of me.
I printed it.
You do? Awesome. Yeah. So what's up first?
All right. So first is athletic field restoration after spring sports. Neil.
Sounds like Neil.
So we started overseeding, aerating, getting everything decompacted, ready to go. Got the sprinkler system turned on. We waited until after our sectional games were over because I'm always nervous turning it on first thing after the winter if something happened to break. We don't want a line go bad in the middle of the field. So better just to leave it off for another couple of days. We didn't actually need it yet. So, but now that we have seed on the field, now the 90-degree heat's coming next week. We need that water to get the seed to establish, and now they're nice and strong for fall sports.
Are we getting rid of the long jump anytime soon?
Over the summer, hopefully beginning of the summer, so we can get seed established there.
And the middle, what's it called?
Satellite.
Thank you. I was like middle school, elementary school, one of those.
We haven't made it over there next week, and looking at the forecast, probably not next week, probably the following week, because we don't have irrigation over there.
And are we going to do the new soil over there?
We will be doing over there, yes. Try to level it up the best we can.
I've heard many compliments about the fields, Neil. So thank you.
Agreed.
Mhm.
Good.
And
Make sure
you
my
say
guys
here
know.
the opposite.
A lot of opposite.
Mhm.
So it's good that we're hearing it. And, I'm going to jump around because now we're getting complaints that the grass is growing too well.
Oh
Right?
dear.
It's growing too fast, too high. And so that's a good thing, I guess, in a way, but brings up the idea of autonomous mowers. So I know you looked into that a little bit, but Rob and I had a conversation. He mentioned that Colony Country Club, and I didn't even know this was a thing. There's like these mowers now where you can program them and they cut without you even being there,
It's like a Roomba for your lawn.
Basically,
It's like
we're
a
gonna-
liner.
Yes. Actually,
which we don't have
Can that
anymore.
mow and, what?
We got rid of that.
We got rid of the liner.
we got rid of the liner.
Why?
It really only got used to establish the field. So once they were painted, he was going out and tracing over them himself anyway. So it was only painting about 4 fields a year.
Hmm.
And just the price tag on it wasn't really worth it.
It was a lease, right? It was-
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So basically you'd put it out, but then you'd still have to have somebody sit there and watch it.
Right.
Because the paint nozzle was so fine, it constantly would clog up. And it didn't have any sort of sensor or alarm on there saying, hey, I stopped painting. So you have to stop it, reset it to the point where it left off, and then it could go again. So
Took away human error because you could just program it and you had the perfect field
But
every
you still
time.
need
Yeah,
a
you
human.
still needed to validate.
But our ROI, the return on investment, I think is important. And if it's not getting
No, it
us what we
sounds-
need,
yeah.
then
Yeah.
Absolutely.
hence Neil doing the evaluation, going through it.
Yeah.
So autonomous mowers.
So golf courses have started using them at nighttime because they don't interfere with players actually golfing.
Mhm.
And also lack of help. So Fenway actually uses 2 little Roomba styles, Husqvarna mowers. They're only 21, 22 inches or so. And so when they don't have, or they're on an away stand, they would use those to kind of keep up on the mowing while the rest of the crew could do other stuff. But I don't know if the technology is quite there yet for us, but that might be something to revisit down the road because it is still pretty expensive for GPS and everything else.
When you look at the price tag, how much was it?
Just the mower was over 50,000
Oh, wait for what?
for a
large,
72 inch mower.
Yeah.
For one of the small ones, they're only 20 to 30 inches or so. So you're talking a little bigger than a push mower.
Yeah. So and some of them are smaller, and then they just go mow, not all the time, but every, daily, right? Colony Country Club just put an antenna for his Cress, KRESS is the vendor, and they will do up to like 7 to 13 acres. They are expensive, but like $10,000, $12,000, $13,000 expensive at those sizes, not like the 50
And how much does it do at one time?
at one time.
Yeah,
I don't
like
know.
that
You'd have
one
to-
little.
You have to talk to them. I think Colony is going to be buying them, but the thing they did was put in an antenna. So a lot of the GPS ones require an RTK, which is a separate GPS antenna to give it a fixed point of reference to be able to do centimeter level, precision. And you just have to mount them on your house or mount them on a building, whatever. Crest, I guess, has some bigger, broader ones where you mount one per like a X number of mile radius, and they signed a lease with Colony Country Club to go put an antenna over there. So our region is now sort of enabled for Crest, which is how I heard about it, because some people I know buy them.
Crest has been making a big push into battery operated, smaller hand equipment as well. Like backpack blowers and weed whackers and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
So I just thought it may be worth looking at since it's coming up here. And I don't know what our impact is. We haven't talked about it in a while for personnel for like mowing. Like how many hours per week do our folks spend mowing? And
Well, with the way the grass has been growing, it's been a bit more right now. But with the heat coming in, it'll slow down a little bit.
Crest, you want to take a look at those and see?
KRES.
yeah, KRES. Yeah. I mean, there's lots and lots of them out there, but that was one that just happened to, since they're putting that thing in down the road and.
Yeah, so that antenna then would feasibly hit us.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So you wouldn't have to
Be in the
worry about
coverage.
any of that
Coverage
infrastructure.
area. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the things that we were talking about was an actual fee for the GPS service, which was significant.
Oh,
So,
So that takes that away then.
yeah. I don't know what their ongoing stuff is. I don't know anyone with one yet because they just put that antenna in, but
Well, my concern is we have staff now, so we have 2 maintenance people within the next 2 years. who will probably be retiring. So 3, right? 4. We have an elementary person who'll be retiring next year.
Yeah.
2 maintenance in the high school that
Bob and Sean would,
they are 30 years in each. Yeah, they both have been.
they could be any day now.
Right? They both have so much historical knowledge. It's like fun. And then Jay,
Jay has been here basically since he graduated high school.
right, and maybe even at the elementary school, if we could get an electric one for down there.
Mhm.
So something to think about.
could be something to plan for in the next budget, 25, 26, yes.
You don't like spending money, Jim?
you always find extra money.
You don't know how many times I asked for it. So speaking of spending money, let's talk
Yeah.
about lights,
Yeah.
shall we?
Let's talk about that.
So let's talk about first, some well-meaning community members, and then what you want to do about this after this. So, Coach Sapienza got a text today from a community member who knows the developer for Catholic High. He purchased Catholic High. And so the text said that the person who's developing Catholic High is willing to donate the lights, the athletic lights that Catholic High had up, to the district. You can get them, they can put them on another community member's truck and they can be delivered this week. So well-meaning, well thought, and I appreciate it, but we don't know the conditions of the lights, how old these lights are. I think they are the original lights for Catholic High. You have to still then install them. You have to run the wires. There might be some grandfathering issues because these are like the old school giant lights. So I think they're well-meaning. I have many, many reservations or concerns about the feasibility of doing that. And then even if we do put the lights and get the lights, install them within a price range that's doable, which I don't even know what that would be.
Maintenance.
The maintenance of them, but even then is you're going to be putting it on what field? And then we've talked about this. Our track is gone. It needs to be ripped up and replaced. Our field isn't, it's smaller than it needs to be for our football, soccer field, that kind of main thing. So like, do you put lights then on a field that might be getting ripped up anyways?
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are not portable lights.
These are,
installed.
the community member said anywhere between $50,000 and $100,000 to mount them and install them. Now, the community member is not an engineer
Or an electrician.
or an electrician. I think they're just, they were,
Yeah.
I don't know where they got that number from. And I think that number would be much higher considering you have to go through SED, you have to have an architect. There's codes that we have to go through.
Mhm.
And again, we're taking another person's leftovers here, right? So these lights might be now, nowadays you have LED lights that
Right.
are top of the line, that do all these other things, and these are
Much more efficient.
Pinpoint.
I can look into it more, but I just have reservations.
Well, I think it can't hurt to look into it more, also to establish those things.
Hmm.
What kind of lights are they? How old are they? And I don't know if you really want to get into it, but how much, not only would it cost to run the wiring actually, but then if we've got to move them at another phase, it like soon,
Right.
right? To move them outward.
Well, you could put them on the soccer field instead of the football field.
But then you're still getting one of these
I'm
ones
not
where,
suggesting
Well,
to
no,
do
but
that, but you're
when Neil
not
said
strapped
this-
to the football field.
what Neil said though is, but even then, maybe the soccer field goes away, right? Who knows what it will end
If
up
you do a
looking
big
like.
capital
Yeah.
project.
Well,
But
because if that field is going to be enlarged to be big enough to support
Right.
football, soccer, lacrosse. Am I missing another field sport? I feel like I am.
no,
But I mean, because all of those the fields that are at schools
Mm-hmm.
around us are all inclusive of all of those sizes.
and how do you change the light bulb? Because he told me this one today, I couldn't.
Fire truck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because of the height of them, you gotta use the big ladder truck to get in and get up to the lights in order to change them. Or you rent a very heavy duty lifts that can reach 65 feet up in the air, which you would have to, usually we would park it on the track
Mhm.
at Niski when we would change them. And again, you're not just pulling them in for 1 or 2 bulbs at a time.
Oh, yeah.
So, or if you're getting a lift and if it was on the soccer field, this is not something you want to pull onto your field because you're gonna make a mess.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of rust. Not ideal.
Or we could look at the other option is the portable lights. As what we talked about,
Yeah.
and still look into those option as an option of doing it. I mean, we can look time frame wise, again, I don't think it's gonna be cost effective looking into it for the long run,
For the
What?
donated ones.
so the donate.
Yes.
Right.
I just,
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing there's no like quick hit close places that you'd want to put them where it doesn't cost very much money to run like 20 feet of, high gauge wire,
right,
right? It's not like you'd want to stick them out back and let it.
and I don't even have the conduit in yet, because
Yeah.
we're
Right.
building the conduit line, so they're running it for me when we're doing the transportation field. They're putting an outlet and conduit, so we can run lights eventually
Mhm.
and have the wattage to be able to do it, but we don't even have that set up yet. So that's that running of those lines could be coming in.
And where's the conduit that does like the scoreboard? That goes.
That's back there currently, but you need different.
Right, it's
They
gotta
have
be
a different
different
voltage, yeah.
voltage, right?
It's coming off a different line, isn't it?
Going right.
Right, but the one that they're adding is a different line. Right?
It'll be a different line, yeah.
Oh,
But it'll still come off of Martin Road, basically up through our transportation facility area, up through the edge behind baseball where the one power station was for the 2 scoreboards now.
mhm.
So that's basically where the conduit will be going, so we can tie into there whenever we do decide to put in lights and where we put in lights.
We currently don't have power to the boards over there. Neil's gonna have to fix that.
Our
Here's a-
soccer scoreboard will probably be running off a generator this, fall.
Understood.
How many of these lights are there?
Don't know. It was
Yeah, we don't know.
literally, I can read you the text and it was so-and-so says we got lights. I can put them in back in so-and-so's truck and bring them to you.
It
Cost
can't be
between-
that big if they can go in the back of someone's.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, this
that,
is,
what kind of truck
again-
are we talking about here?
Yeah. They have a tractor
well, then
trailer.
it's not the poles, it's not everything. But I think-
Oh.
Wait, so it doesn't come with the poles?
I don't think so. And I
Oh,
think
okay.
the other thing is, and I said this when I got here, and I
So
will-
literally lights.
Literally lights.
and I will say
Maybe
this,
not even with light bulbs.
and I said this when I got here, and I will say it over and over and over again. This district used to do a nice job of getting donations and community
Mhm.
support and community things to be able to do things not at that professional grade level. And what it happens is you get them and you get these things and they work very well for a few years. And then it doesn't hold up to the test of time. Like if we're doing these things, we really need to be doing them at like the high professional level
Yeah.
that we should be doing. Because otherwise our taxpayer investment, we might be getting it cheaper now, but paying more money down the road.
Mhm.
Like, I will give you an example, the rewiring of the district, right? It was spaghetti and Swiss cheese, and now we've, after, what was it, 3 years?
Yeah.
And
Committed effort, yes.
we finally got our wiring to where it needs to be.
Yeah, this is a very different thing of we've got some lights versus
Mhm.
we have lights that we would be willing to install for you and it comes with the poles and there's just too many unknowns here.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it would be a lot to have them put in and
And the time is just not perfect
No, it's
on
not.
top of that.
I'll ask just to get some clarification, but I'm
That
thinking
would be
this is
great.
I'm
I think
thinking
just to
this
be
is
safe, to show
Yeah.
due
Yep.
diligence with taxpayer money, but
Absolutely.
it doesn't sound like it's gonna.
No, I mean, if you had, and if you had to choose between this and the portable lights, I mean, the portable lights, we can do, soccer over there.
They can, well, they're
Can
portable.
you light up a baseball field? I don't know, but like you can,
No,
flexibility.
So my next question about the portable lights, what kind of height are we talking
Yeah.
about? Because as you know, illuminating a football or a soccer ball is very different than
So they'll
illuminating a
be a-
lacrosse ball.
Be about the same height as the ones we have been running,
Okay,
right in that 20-24 foot range.
But there,
it's not
isn't it
ideal.
more lumens? Did they
They
say
are
that?
more lumens,
Yeah, you know,
they're
lacrosse,
LED style, so
Yeah,
they will be
and they're
brighter
bright.
overall.
So they're brighter.
You know, because if the
They
ball
also
goes up
come with
above the
diffusers,
lights.
which may help just spread out the light.
Yeah.
So.
Probably still wouldn't put them on a baseball field or something like that,
Yeah,
but I think they would do a good job for soccer.
Yeah.
Lacrosse, smaller ball could be kind of tough, especially if it's one of the white ones.
I feel like it was a while ago, but I feel like the idea was that we would use those lights, the portable ones, for a lacrosse game. And this, I'm gonna go back to like 2018 or something. And that was the problem, that the ball just was lost.
So they did use it just recently. They had lacrosse. And they
Under
did,
lights?
yeah, they did the girls lacrosse game. Didn't they? Am I?
I think the boys was later.
So the boys was
But-
later, but it
It
ended up
got
getting
canceled.
stormed out, right?
Yeah.
It was the night of the
No, that was
election.
the
It was
sectional game.
supposed to be.
No, they did it. Like,
A different one, like.
Yeah.
Saturday night
my
or
girl,
something?
my daughter was there. They played underneath. So they had the
They fired
girls
them up around halftime or so.
yes,
I
And it
would
wasn't
find-
fully dark.
this
dark.
year. So they did use them.
Well, I mean, I would find out, I mean, and who knows what they used in 2018? Maybe they were lower.
Mhm.
I know they came from like United Rentals or something. And because at the time there was a kid whose dad worked for United Rentals and, we got like a good deal or something. It's always a good deal.
Are we?
Right, Jim? So, yeah.
So we do have the ability to purchase them there.
Mhm.
They are LEDs, 20 to 24 feet
Mhm.
On state contract.
on state contract. It's gas, not diesel.
It'd be run off a generator.
Mhm.
So it'd be a whole lot quieter than the giant diesel motors that we've been renting and running.
Yeah, and those are pretty loud. Yeah, but I mean, not that.
But
really
when I stated the time frame, that was me watching a video. So my time frame was wrong. So how long will it last, the light last on a generator?
So the 2,000 watt or 2,200 watt was 3.25 hours on a full tank at full run. It's about 3 hours if we have an individual generator at 1,000 for each light. So it's roughly the length of the game, but you may have to have someone go out with a can and just fill them all up.
If you had back-to-back games.
Yeah.
We usually do that, right?
In the fall, I mean, you have soccer,
Yeah.
could start at 5 and then at 9.
Yeah.
And did
Okay.
you look into the price differential with the, solar with batteries?
I have not looked at that. I don't know if
I did not get a quote on the solar unit, so.
do they make? I mean, you
I-
can power anything with batteries and solar, but I mean, I've priced that stuff out for myself and the physical size of the solar panels to be able to charge up batteries that, and then, I don't know.
They had some listed on that website, but I don't think they're on the market yet.
Got it.
And the
Yeah.
solar panel itself did look quite large.
And if that shrinks down or there's something that comes in the
Mhm.
future, that we can always move towards that.
Right.
I mean, as an incremental expense rather than the big expense of the lights. So.
Yeah, I don't know what batteries are a watt hour right now, but I'm sure it's still more than a generator. I could clip.
This would be a temporary fix. I
Yeah.
think that's,
Oh, yeah.
I think that's gotta be the thing, is the district would be committed to, at some point, I think if we say purchase these, it's stating that the district is committed to seriously looking at lights for our athletic complex.
Yeah.
I mean, that is clearly the statement that would be made. If we say no, then we're like, all right, well, we're still wishy-washy on lights, or we're no, it's not something we're gonna do. So it says that we're gonna make the commitment, and then when we go out for the next capital project, these lights would have to be making do to get you to that point, because, I mean, we're renting lights every year. It seems like we run more and more lights and more and more events yearly at this point. Every year, I think we add a different event. So it's compounding very
Soccer
quickly.
was over a week long for between it.
Mhm.
Right, and
Homecoming and then the following week.
Yeah.
right. Soccer,
Yeah,
I
makes
think
sense.
across this year for that one.
And then
Well,
all
I'm
the stuff
sure-
you don't even know you use it for.
Right.
Right.
And
And I'm
then-
sure it's,
We're talking about return on investment of about 2 or 3 years for these
Right.
versus what we rent, and we'll have more opportunity to use them, so.
And these can be surplus.
Yes.
So.
oh,
They can
okay.
be
Right, so surplus, so meaning like we can sell it
Once we're done.
once we're done with them. And let's say
That'd be nice.
we get it done and,
Mhm.
you know, the district's made an effort to get lights and we get lights somewhere and we want to sell half of them. Okay, well, we can get rid of 4 of them and make profit back. Cause I mean, again, they're LED, they last for a very long time. If we take care of our equipment,
But same, they could go to the satellite
they
field.
could go other
And we
places.
could,
Right.
yeah, I mean, it would really, I could imagine that it would vastly improve how many games we can play here, you know, in a season for our student athletes, because, you know, we can't host a night game here, where it seems like every other school that is our size in Colonial Council, you go to their facilities and they all have, you know, the facilities. So it would probably would help their schedule.
So I will check the lights that will be
Mhm.
donated
Okay.
to really rule it out or say, no, this is feasible. Let's do that instead. I 75% believe that that's not gonna happen.
Right.
Right. But we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out for sure. And then we'll take a considered effort to look at the lights and possibly purchase some lights at that point on state contract for the end of the year.
And 20-25 feet that's as high as we could get them, or it's exorbitantly more if you go any higher,
You go higher, it starts getting a lot more
Support.
expensive. Plus they need a
like
like
something to.
concrete
Okay.
pad to sit on as well.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So
Just
they do,
exploring all the
the
options.
Boss Lighting made some trailers that were like 40 to 60 feet, but then you're getting up to $80,000 per unit
Yeah,
or more. Not to mention the fuel that would take to run them, plus the cost of the concrete pad that it has to sit on. that
Oh,
has
yeah.
to meet certain specs, so.
then we're in
That
the
is,
same.
that is lights.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that, I mean, that is a light system.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Great.
All right. Well, there we go then. All right, let's do EV chargers at the high school, middle school and elementary school.
Okay, so we reached out to a bunch of companies to get quotes and ideas of what the
Right.
cost would be.
Technology.
The company that originally gave us a quote that was kind of all over the place, then came back and said, oh, well, we missed something and we had to add this in, and it made it non-economical. So another company called Livingston Energy, we've been discussing with, and they came back with a proposal to do 4 outlets at each of the parking lots. And the total cost after grants, estimated, of course, is $18,800 for each installation. And that includes coming right from the pole to there, having it, the 2 stations themselves with 2 outlets on each, all the work to put everything together and get it deployed. So we're looking into that. That's to me, a reasonable expense, especially when it puts another perk in place for employees they can use. If the public uses it, we would charge 3 times the cost of the electricity to offset some of the installation costs.
So we can.
Yeah.
Gain income from it.
Correct.
theoretically.
How do you charge it? Is there like a swiper?
There would be in these machines, there's always a payment method. Let's put it that way.
Is that the typical cost to charge 3 times?
I never look at my bill and I mostly charge at home now. So.
Right.
But if you went to like the mall, you don't just, you have to pay something, right?
No.
Yeah.
Just all, yep.
Yep.
Yep. If
Like,
go to-
I don't care.
Yeah, no, I don't like charge point ones. I'll tap my phone and go. I've never paid much attention to.
But it's not much, right? It's pennies in comparison to gas typically.
Yeah.
I mean, I can only anecdotally talk about my wife's plug-in hybrid. She went from like $60 a month to 25 with the electricity. So, you know,
So I was pushing, I will be very honest on this. It was hard for me to understand how we we're giving up 4 parking spots. I just was, like, well, can I staff that park over there? And this is now we're taking away 4 dedicated areas, and what if people don't use it? So I did ask multiple times, like, because I can see Jim's face. Why are we not doing 2? Can you explain what you explained to me? Because it made complete sense after I asked over and over again.
So all of the work to set it up, if you split it over 2 outlets, it's less expensive per outlet,
Mhm.
and 2 chargers, it's less expensive per. If you're only doing 1, you're gonna have to put all that cost there. So it's gonna be an increased cost for just 1 charger. So it's not gonna be 18,800. It might be 12 or 13,000, but you're only getting those 2 outlets. So
So it's like BOGO.
essentially.
I like that. Yes, it is like a bozo.
So it makes more sense. And then,
But you're putting them not in the prime parking spots, right?
well, we have to go
Close to the building?
over in the middle school area, far back corner, like towards the road, because that's where that's where the wire is.
So
Oh, yeah.
I guess that is prime.
It is prime.
But it's not like.
It's the
prime.
far end of the lot. So I'm sure,
Yeah. It's not
If-
like this side of the lot.
right,
It
exactly.
isn't, it's not, oh, it's that?
It's way
Closest
back
to the
left
left.
corner, if you look at that lot.
So can you see where the one power pole is over by the corner? So
Oh,
it'd
yeah, yeah, yeah.
be,
I
they
thought
would
you
pull off of that pole and then basically right into the 4 closest
Yeah, no,
spots right
so
in front of
that's
that.
perfect.
And the elementary school, they would be the 4 that face where the light is.
Yeah, face New Salem Road.
Yeah, facing.
Oh,
So right by the bridge.
Yeah, but that parking's gonna get so much better. Once you have
Exactly,
all the
I
bus
mean, yeah.
drivers having to park there and.
So that makes a lot of sense.
Do we know how many staff, faculty are currently driving?
We did a count the other
Okay.
day and we have at least 3 Tesla drivers here on this
And,
campus.
and I talked to more, and there's a couple of people who are looking at purchasing.
Mhm.
Who were
Okay.
very excited when I said that we might be
Yeah,
doing that.
You
So,
can charge while you're at work.
right,
That's
that's what they would say,
nice.
like, oh my gosh, it'd be even better. Now I gotta go home and buy it.
Depending on people's commute, yeah.
Right?
So I think, and again, this is the push for the future, right? We've talked
Mhm.
about being green, we've talked about being more, more environmentally sound, and I think our staff are moving towards that way. People are, they're becoming very common. So,
Mhm.
It's nice for the community as well.
Agreed.
so we'll move forward on that, Grant.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Okay, updates on the elementary roofing project.
So as of now, they've finished all the work that needs to be done for us to get our 20-year warranty on it. They still have a few little items on our punch list that they have to come back and clean up and fix a little bit better. We left a little bit of a mess. The ruts could be a bit better. And other little details, but for the most part, the roof is watertight. We don't have any standing water up there anymore. We don't have any water coming in onto the stairwell anymore.
Well, that's lovely.
Jeez.
That's huge. So, if we can get that in the high school, it'll be perfect. And the $100,000 capital outlay project here possibly. So that's one we have to now develop and finalize for the 24-25 stage. Thoughts on that one yet?
I mean, we discussed touching some of the lights that wasn't getting touched in the EPC. I would still want to get a price on possibly the cafeteria leak that has been ongoing for a number of years. So we're still in discussions on that one.
Cafeteria here in the high school.
Yes.
Yes.
And there's also a ladder that needs to be done in the pack. So if you go to the pack area, can you explain it?
We don't have roof access to be on top of the pack, but we do have units up there. So we have to run an extension ladder up the side of it with at least one person making sure it doesn't go anywhere, while you have preferably 2 people up on the top. So it's a 3-man job to get on top of the pack right now.
So
Oh,
one of the things that we're looking at for the $100,000 project is a ladder.
Access.
yeah.
That was in the previous $100,000 project. Unfortunately, the catwalk doesn't extend far enough to get there. If it was a separate project itself to extend the catwalk and then go up, might fit within that 100,000.
So that's why we'd have to separate it, because right now, there's no way, and if you go into the pack, it's the craziest thing in the world. Your roof access is here. Your catwalk is here, so you'd literally have to jump and grab in order to, it's very bizarre.
There's also a beam right at the end of the catwalk.
Yeah.
So it's almost, you have to come over and over.
So this is, but this is inside access. We're not talking about you trying to get a ladder up on the side or the outside of the building,
Well, it can
No.
go
right?
either
Or
way.
can it go either way?
Either way. But a whole ladder that height would have to have like the cage wrapped around it,
Oh, yeah.
so. Like
those-
some of the smaller ladders we have here, are just regular ladder up onto the roof. But one that height would have to have the wrapped in cage, so fall protection and all that fun stuff.
So those are the things that we're looking at for the project. Or lights, that could work too. But I do not think that would work. It was a joke.
Mhm.
Uh, just because you have to go through, the other thing is you have to go through state ed for even these $100,000 projects. And a smaller one can be quicker. As we've seen, it's taken 9 months for some of these projects.
Yeah, we're hoping to get this one in by the end of the summer so that it can have enough time to.
It's looking perfectly.
The transportation facility at the elementary school, if you go up the back, you'll notice now that they're digging close to the driveway. And the reason why is that is the water line. So there's some different speculation of the lines that we had to run like 4-inch, 6-inch into the building. So they're running the new water line. They've worked with the town and the village and everybody else. So they're now tying that in and then running a new line up into the building, into the cafeteria area, right? Or plumbing area.
Well, where they, so we've got a valve just off the driveway there.
Yeah.
So we're tying in to that spot. So just outside the driveway, so none of the pavement itself will be disturbed, cut off or anything like that.
Mhm.
So the 6-inch pipe is coming from the road, just outside of the work zone, filling it back in as they go, or fencing it off, so there's no exposed trenches. And they will be tying into existing water line at that spot.
So-
This
Got
is here?
Yeah, in the back.
Oh, I thought you said elementary schools.
Oh, no, sorry, transportation. Sorry about that.
Got
it. So that is getting done now, and then everything
Do
should,
the official tie-in on the 19th when nobody is in the building, because the water will be shut down for an hour or two.
so they did the stormwater, kind of pond back there. If you look down, it's a giant gravel pit.
Mhm.
How much water does it hold?
I forget the exact number, but it is a lot.
It's,
So basically it was designed if we get one of those 100-year storms where we get several inches of water within an hour, it can take that. So any water coming off of this campus, down the hill, anything that's on that facility itself, it can all go into these giant chambers that will be under the parking lot and then off to daylight and out.
so our neighbors, they're not cooperative extension, everyone else, they should be feasibly fine. There's no issues because of the amount of drainage that's been put in.
Right,
And I know that was a concern.
yeah.
That when we
Runoff
talked
going
about it
into
and the
theirs,
runoff and everything else, so that has all been taken care of and it's impressive. So all within there, and the drainage is outstanding, as you said, so.
Yes.
But other than that, transportation facility is moving along, pretty well done. Elementary school is on a hold. We did meet today, the owner architects. It's owner, architect and construction manager. It's called the OACM meetings. So if you ever hear me say the OACM, and Jim and Neil go on it. He is working out the new schedule. The construction manager is working out the new schedule for the elementary school. His exact words, it's really tight. He's not ready to share it yet because he's still got some concerns about getting everything scheduled in the timeframe that we need to. So we're just trying to figure out, I am going to say this over and over again. It is not going to be fun. People are going to be frustrated. The teachers are going to get frustrated. The kids are going to get frustrated. The community's going to get frustrated. Doing a project cannot be fun. It usually isn't. Doing one in a very tight time frame now and that much getting touched, it's going to be a rough year and a half.
Mhm.
I just want to keep, I don't want to like sugarcoat any of that. We'll get through it.
A lot of communication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, a lot of communication, a lot of understanding, a lot of presetting, but it's,
Mhm.
but the end result will definitely be worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the emergency brick repair at the elementary school. I shared it with you in our news and notes. Neil, do you want to explain a little bit what happened?
So I was walking out with one of the contractors who is helping oversee the 100,000 project down there. And we're talking and he looks up and he sees one of the 1 foot by 4 foot blocks right between our employee entrance and our kitchen entrance that is squeaked out an inch or so on the top half. So it is loose and starting to work its way away from the building. And if this thing came down, which is up on the 3rd floor, just above the third floor windows that will easily crush somebody. So,
You went up and looked.
and I went up on the roof to get and it looks worse from above. So,
Why does it happen? It's just normal or?
that part of the building is from the 1940s.
Yeah.
So the mortar around the brick basically just wears out from time.
And so then you looked at all the other ones? How's that morning?
So last summer, summer,
So, yeah.
fall, when we had the company in, they started on the worst areas and then they kind of worked their way around to spot treat these other areas. So because it's failing, again, the original part of the building's 100 years old. And if you don't repoint it every now and again and rework some of that mortar, it just wears out, which is what happened on the corners. So they started on the high needs where bricks were already missing, and then they started working down the priority list. So we're going to do that again.
Yeah.
So another weekend, they're just going to start with that block, get that reset, and then kind of work their way around the other problem areas.
Mhm.
We were planning to do that over summer, but with this being an emergency
Right,
project, we
right.
need to start that now, so.
It's
Alright.
just literally.
Good that you
falling
noticed it, yeah.
Brick by brick.
Yeah, brick by brick, it's literally falling apart this year.
So much like last year when a guy came in and he found a brick just laying on the sidewalk. We're glad we caught it before it actually came down, especially because of where it is and such
Yeah,
high
absolutely.
foot traffic
Oh
through
my
there.
goodness, yes.
So then the other thing we have on is the heat temperature index protocols. We talked about that
Yeah.
last year.
It's gonna just keep getting worse.
It is, but so the state, both houses passed a bill that has a lot of opposition right now, and that bill is the emergency room and emergency shutdown for rooms that are over 88 degrees.
Mhm.
And there's a lot more to it, but basically what they're saying is they're mandating schools to actually either put in air conditioning units, put in money for things
This
that.
money. Sorry,
No,
sorry, state.
that's part of the concern that people have is you're mandating us to do this
Right,
into something that maybe only happens a couple times a year. And you're using taxpayer money for things that could maybe be utilized for bricks or other stuff, right? Like, so that's some of the concern. And there's a lot going on. And they're also talking about full day closures, not just room closures.
Wow.
So it's gonna go to the governor. The governor can veto or not veto it or anything. So we don't know when that's gonna happen. Again, it would take a year anyways for it to go on. But as we're doing that, we're looking at our heat protocols again. Again, we're air conditioning the the elementary school. So the major issues that we have.
the whole,
It's
whole
almost
third floor.
the whole third floor is getting done.
All the
Right, but
problem
not-
areas.
oh, right.
Sorry, I really have to go. I have to pick up Layla and bring her back for,
Yeah.
do
Again,
we have, is there any?
no,
after
this is
this,
the
or
last thing to
the
talk
last one?
about.
All right, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone, you guys can keep
It's
wrapping
okay,
it
we
up,
can
but
wind
I
it up.
gotta jet and bring her back for 5:20.
No, I
So,
get it.
all right.
I'm in that boat too, but see you in a little bit.
Because I just remember we originally wanted to do the whole elementary school, and then we couldn't afford
Right,
it.
so the whole third floor is getting done. The second floor already has it. The office already has it. So the majority of that building, all the problem areas, except for that one long wing on the second floor. That was the one area.
Like where music used to be.
No, second floor, which is
I think it's music
third
right
grade,
now.
no, third and second grade. No, that's getting done.
That is getting done.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so that music in our
That
room,
was hot on that
that's
side,
getting
yeah.
connected. So that area there, second, third floor, that's getting done. The other parts of the second floor in front of the office, that's already air conditioned. The top is, again, I'm pulling this from my mind, so I could be
Yeah.
wrong. The whole third floor is getting done. It's that second and third grade hallway. It doesn't get super hot, but that's not air conditioned.
Okay,
Where the students are, it's that new addition to the building.
but the capital project will help a lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
tons. But Neil's doing something new this year. He just started it where, I'm gonna speak for you. He's calling the building occupied from 11 o'clock to like 6 o'clock at night. So now he's pumping in tons of cold air, right?
So with the current weather outside, how it's dropping down on some nights into the 50s here, we've been pumping in 100% outside air overnight.
Mm.
And even this morning, it felt nice in the building, almost a little chilly in some areas.
That's lovely.
So we kind of drop the temperature as low as we can to start the day. And then as it,
Mhm.
starts baking in the sun, and you get 20 plus people in a room, temperature climbs, but we try to start as low as we possibly can without the air, just by using the outside air being brought in.
So we haven't done that protocol before in the past year. So hopefully, at least with some of the testing, again, when it turns 72 degrees at night, we're not gonna be able to do that. But
Right, yeah.
Right,
for the majority of the time when it's getting down into the 60s, it should at least alleviate something in comparison to what we were having before.
Cause this building does, both buildings hold heat very well.
Stone.
So,
And eventually, when we talk about this building, we're gonna have to talk about, do we put in air conditioning? Where do we put in air conditioning?
Middle school, high school.
Yeah,
I feel like you're gonna eventually
have
have to have it up there. I mean, with climate change.
I think the gym,
Or Board of Regents, if they're getting rid of exams, are they gonna shorten the amount of days?
well, the exams aren't going away.
I
so
know, but you
that
know what
is-
I
yeah.
mean? Like, if the state wants to restructure the school year,
Right,
I'm not recommending it necessarily, but there's gonna come a time where you can't go late June in New York and on the air conditioned building.
or September,
Oh,
In the
yeah.
beginning.
right?
of
Let's be honest.
Absolutely.
It's-
The shoulder seasons aren't gonna work anymore.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
No, it's getting hotter and hotter.
Yeah.
So, and
You
that,
can't be productive in a classroom.
and when we're trying to do Regents exams in the gymnasium, that's 85 degrees.
It's not, no.
It's hot.
Ideal for these students and teachers and staff.
We are still trying to work through what we have, and evaluate it the best that we can.
And
I
in
did
the
want-
meantime, if it gets too hot in a room, we have protocols that they relocate, right?
Correct, yeah,
Not necessarily productive, but safe.
right. And they are below the state protocols, by the way. They're like, it's below the 88, so that's good.
Mhm.
The 88 seems awfully hot in the classroom.
Yes.
That's it.
Was building use the dates of, I remember that came up somewhere, that the dates maybe need to be either educated when people reserve the building, or did we need to switch some dates with the seasons? Was that for facilities or was that for policy? Do you remember that conversation?
for the schedules program.
Yeah. Where people have, for the whole season, request by a certain date for like spring sports, had to request by. blah,
I
blah,
think
blah.
that's more of a communication thing.
Okay.
Because we've already set the dates. It's just a matter of making sure everyone knows.
I just remember it coming up and I can't remember for something we had
And
to
well,
do.
we
in that
also
committee.
did, Jim, myself and Joe are meeting, because we've scheduled, I've asked for everybody who does 1 years to meet with me so we can discuss it and clarify it as well. 'Cause
Trying to
I
get
just-
it so it works best for everybody.
Yeah, we wanted to do that.
Well, it's brand new.
Yeah, and we
Yeah,
want to make sure that we
tweak
get
it.
these people in, have communication about the expectations and everything else, and just really clarify any miscommunication
Mhm.
that's out there.
Okay, I just couldn't remember if we
No, but
had to
thank
do
you.
anything here.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
I don't have anything.
All right. And that is it.
Well, thank you very much.
No,
Yes,
thank
thank
you,
you.
and thank you for being a part of this
Yeah.
committee, Tricia.
It's been a pleasure. It's a fun
Yay.
committee.
And
It is a fun committee. Darn.